Greetings, everyone. Jonathan here, and I first off have to apologize for not doing one of these videos in a long time. It has been truly a while. I've been wanting to get back into video blogging. The opportunity hasn't come up yet. But today I have to actually issue something of an apology, or at the very least an explanation. I was not on the site, not doing email, not doing pretty much anything for now well over a week, and I seemingly dropped off the face of the earth. And I wanted to offer an explanation of that because I'm honest with you, my readers, and I trust that you are honest with me. On August 8th, the morning of my grandmother passed away very suddenly. I received word later that day. Like I said, it was very, very sudden. It was quite a surprise for the family. The initial response was one of total shock, if we're going to be honest. Despite her advancing age, she still was in great health, and she simply went to sleep at night and didn't wake up. It was a pretty amazing shock. So I went Friday night / Saturday morning. I headed out South Carolina, had the funeral Sunday, and my birthday was Tuesday, August the 13th. I decided to stay an extra couple of days, spend my birthday with my family and my friends, especially with all that was going on. It seemed appropriate. And I'm really grateful. Was really grateful to have all of them there at that very difficult time for me. It meant a lot to me. So yeah, and then I came back after my birthday, drove back all day Wednesday. Thursday I took the day off because I was exhausted, and Friday was my first day in the office. I was going to post the podcast, but we had a technical issue that we've got straightened out, so that'll be going today. And that's first part of what I want to say is we are resuming normal posting effectively this week. I'll be back on track. I'm going to post the podcast from now almost 2 weeks ago. Today, get that online, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we should be on a normal cycle. No questions, no problems there. But I want to say thank you to everyone for understanding my absence. Those of you who I did tell, especially my clients, you've been very understanding and very helpful. Thank you very much for your support during this time. And I'm looking forward to sort of ramping back up and getting back to normal. But since I've got a few minutes left in this video, I would like to say a few things about my grandmother. It's probably the best venue I have, and I've been trying to think of something to say for now well over a week, and it's been difficult, but just a few thoughts. My grandmother, Elizabeth Raines Bailey, most people who knew her saw her as kind of a behind-the-scenes person. She was always someone that seemed to be overshadowed by my grandfather. My grandfather was the pastor at the Calvary Baptist Church there in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, a small but growing congregation that he oversaw, and he really was a pillar in the local community through that position. He was always out there. He was always a public face. And everyone knew who he was. People always tell me when I go there and I'm talking to strangers, they know me as Ernest Bailey's grandson, not as Jonathan Bailey, not even as William Bailey's son. I'm Ernest Bailey's grandson. He is that big of a figure there, and they always also joke that I'll never get a speeding ticket in Moncks Corner. I don't know how true that is. I have not tested it. I do not intend to try this, but I've been told that even 15 years after his passing, he's still that big of a figure. My grandmother was always there beside him. They were married just over 50 years before he died, and everything that he did, she supported him. She typed every single church bulletin. My grandfather never knew how to type. She typed every single church bulletin, every church letter, handled a large portion of the church business for him. Really, it was the two of them together that ran that church, and my grandfather just happened to be the public face of it. She was very content being behind the scenes. She was also a teacher, an English teacher. She taught for 35 years, most of those years spent at Berkeley County High School. Over the course of her career, she taught, and no lie, she taught my grandfather. In fact, that was her first teaching gig, and that was how those two met. He got back from World War II. He used the GI Bill to go get some education, and one of his first classes was with my future grandmother. And that's how they met and fell in love, and that's how their story began. So she taught my grandfather, I believe she taught my aunt, and I know she taught my father right there at Berkeley County High School, one of those small high schools where there was not much you could do. So my father rather routinely described the experience as awkward and confusing, because what do you say when you have a question or you need to ask somebody? You go, Mom, or Mrs. Bailey, or Mrs. Bailey, or what do you say? What's the response? You always wonder that. And so they worked it out, though. They made it work, and he did very well with that. And she was very much a public face. A lot of her students came back for the funeral. I remember that, and that was very touching to see. But there was always the side of her that people never got to see because they weren't, in her family. They have no idea how good she was at basketball. I mean, ridiculously, insanely good. We would play horse at the basketball goal they had, and even though I was like 10 years old, and I'm like, I'm good at basketball, I can take my ground. No, I could not take her. She would trounce me handily, trounce me so bad. I'm trying to think of animals, new other animals that I can play the game with in order to extend. It's like elephant. We'll play elephant, and no, it was always either horse or pig. But never knew that. Never knew that how quick-witted she was, how funny she could be. A lot of people didn't get to see that side of her, and I find that a little depressing at times. But the side of her that everyone got to see, and this was really the most important side, was just how loving and how caring she was, and just how amazing of a human being. She was every bit as deeply religious as my grandfather, but where my grandfather was very outward, he was a pastor, it was kind of his job. My grandmother was very, internal, very quiet about it. She shared her faith through giving, through sharing, through loving, and it's the things we need more of in this world and don't see enough of, it seems. So it truly is the world's loss that she's gone. But, you know, people also ask, how did she impact me? How did she influence me? And it's tough to say because it's like I said, even for me, it's kind of tough to separate my grandparents. But thinking about it, I look at the bug for writing and the love for literature and for reading, and you can trace it in my lineage right back to her. It literally goes to her. Not only was she an English teacher for 35 years, but my aunt actually took over her job and was an English teacher for just as long. She retired not that long ago. My father loves to write and does writing as well and passed that on to me. And basically, that entire clan, because of her, really loves writing, really loves English. But also, she instilled into me, the sense of honesty I have. She was someone who would always try to make sure you were telling the truth, not in a distrusting way, but in I've got to teach you way. I got chewed out a lot by my grandmother when I was younger. It was the nature of being a child. But I remember never crying. But I remember just feeling like I had disappointed her and that I needed to be a better person. She made the people around her be better, myself included. And that is truly what was amazing about her. She was just one of those people that if you were in her presence, you were made better for it. And that's really the end of it. I'm getting a little choked up again, but yeah. That's, like I said, all I wanted to say about her. Grandma, I love you. And I do hope you are in a better place. I wish nothing but the best, but I know, without a doubt, you left the world a better place than found it when you came into it, and that, there is no question. So thank you very much, everyone, for indulging me, and I will see you guys very shortly.